It's October. It's time for the beard to come back.
I don't think it's ever time for the beard to come back, but that's your choice.
Oh, you didn't like my beard?
Makes you look older, man. Why you wanna look like an old man? You put on that old man's hat and you grow the old man's beard, you look like you're about 65.
Oh man,
You do. You look like the two guys who were sitting next to me in the sound booth at church.
I was trying
They
to.
literally went, "Hey, that hat looks familiar." And he holds it up, and Doug holds up his hat. It's like a dark gray version, and there's a brown one. And I go, "It looks just like Craig's hat."
I don't know, just leaning into the oldness. I guess it don't matter.
All right, let's do a quick share on this.
I can only be 20 for so long, Chuck.
Hey, I aim to stay as young as possible, as long as possible.
Did we determine that light's too much, or does it work all right? Does it help? Look, without.
Leave it on. Leave it on. Otherwise, you could turn off the background light, your overhead.
Yeah, I hate that overhead. Hold on a second.
Because that's brightening up the big. Okay, Craig has left the building. That's better. Now you are the subject, not the back wall.
Right. I should always be the subject.
Because on this show, the topic is Craig.
That's right. I watched Star Trek 4 today, this afternoon. I didn't want to watch anything.
The new one? The one that hasn't materialized yet? They've been talking about for several years?
Yeah, surprised it came out at midnight.
Dropped
no.
on BitTorrent.
Oh, the Voyage Home.
Alrighty.
I wanted to watch something without thinking about it, just kind of zone out. And there was a couple of things. I remember going, "Oh, it's kind of a goof." I should have wrote it down. But yeah, there was a couple of things I was like, "What?" A goof in the show that I haven't just noticed before. Maybe it was something he said. Yeah. Oh, I'll figure it out later.
All right. Let's begin.
Okie dokie.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 725, Nationwide Emergency Podcast Alert System. When you hear that sound, seek shelter.
Actually, do you know why I named it that?
Does it spell something? NEPAS. NEPAS.
No. On October 4th, when you're listening to when we release the show, they're going to be testing the FEMA nationwide alert system.
I thought 10/4 was like Good Buddy Day.
No, well, that's true, but no. So everybody's phone, TV, like even the radio, everything is supposed to alert you to whatever.
Okay.
So
they're going to test it, and you have to like respond and say, "I got it."
Yeah. Oh, open the window and yell out, "I got it."
Everybody's going to be doing a reply all.
Yeah.
Please take me off of this distribution list. Stop hitting reply all. You just replied all to reply all.
I hope they figure that in as an issue. Don't accept replies.
Nope.
Is she?
Nope.
They're
gonna learn.
Get inundated trying to get replies.
When the emergency broadcast system goes horribly wrong, and you reply all.
Reply all. It didn't work. I didn't get it.
Get what?
That's right.
If Chuck and Craig had invented the national emergency broadcast system,
I would have ChatGPT reply with automatic crazy replies.
That's hallucinating.
Yeah. Why is America replying to me?
I didn't even start the regular spiel. Welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek, and we are certainly doing that. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. If you're returning, welcome back. My name is Chuck Tomasi from Phoenix, Arizona, and right there is Craig Stepp. How you doing, Craig?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
We've been doing this a while.
A little while.
18 years or so.
Yep.
We might get it right this time.
Maybe.
You
We
know,
can only hope.
like Dave and Michael said, 725th times the charm.
Yeah, right.
All right,
That's funny.
we have some feedback. We had a question of the week for you last week, so let's pop in, play that music, and find out what it's about.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every
Dun, dun, dun.
day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mailman, mail today.
Wait, they pull the paper out of the typewriter but keep typing on that. I just realized that. How long we've been playing that song?
You're not supposed to hit on the platinum. Come on, stop hitting the buttons.
They are.
They're gonna ruin it.
We just realized that. And if you're old enough to remember what a manual typewriter is and did and sounded like, good for you. I think that's our main demographic. Our
know-
question of the week.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I love those old typewriters. They're so tactical. The way the keyboard feels, and you have to, at least some of them, you had to slide the thing back, and there's a lot of work involved in typing.
There was
back
that one
then.
lady who made music out of that. Remember at the Parsec Awards? She
Yes.
was singing a song and it was just
Oh,
ding.
yes. She was playing an instrument also, but she was doing something with a typewriter.
And
Yeah, she was
like
pretty
the
good.
rhythm to her music. I'm
Mhm.
trying to, I'll remember her name later. Anyway, our question of the week. You've been abducted by aliens. 30 minutes later, they throw you out of the spaceship because you wouldn't stop talking about what?
The virtues of open source software.
That's your answer?
That's my
And
answer.
sticking to it. Gary Lindros says Babylon 5.
Uh-huh.
Our own sweet Steve says our Lord and Savior Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And he wrote something in Cthulhu Fagan.
Cthulhuese.
Yeah.
I like the
I'm not gonna say it because it might like summon up Beetlejuice or something. I'm not sure.
right.
I don't do those things. We also have
Oh.
Kyle Nishioka saying my
Wait a
fantasy-
minute. Whoa.
What?
I didn't catch this until now. I didn't see the comments, and he said, you might want to listen to this before you read my comment.
Read what? Oh, the video?
Yeah. What
Too
was
late.
the video?
I love how there's a C translation under here. And
I see it.
does
It's pronouncing what he wrote up there.
okay.
Well, we really blew that joke up, didn't we, Steve?
We jumped right to the punchline.
Sorry.
I think it's funny there's a C translation under here, and all it does is translate our Lord of the Savior Cthulhu. It doesn't translate
Oh,
anything.
you got that's funny.
Yeah, it doesn't translate Cthulhuese.
Well,
Very-
if you watch the video, I saw it for just a moment. It starts it's singing the song with the
Oh. Is that the one by Tom Smith? Cthulhu again. What
No.
a wonderful phrase. Oh.
No. All right. So Kyle Nishioka says my fantasy football team.
You get booted out of the ship for talking about that.
Yeah, they'll be like, what is football?
Jack Mangan, who was just here last night, said comparing them, the aliens, comparing them to all of the Star Wars and Star Trek alien races.
Oh,
You know the
what would-
Cardassians did it better.
I'll tell you another good conversation. Remember a long time ago, which ships would be better at attacking each other, like from Star Wars and Star Trek? I think they were doing that on Slice of Sci-Fi, and it was like that conversation went on for months.
Oh,
I think it was what it was, wasn't it? About Star Wars versus Star Trek.
They had a couple of themes that went on and on.
Yeah. My buddy Craig Watson says asking them about building the pyramids, the Nazca lines, and sinking Atlantis.
Nazca lines.
Yeah, I mean Nazca.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Nazca. That's
Sinking
where they race
Atlantis.
the cars really fast.
Sinking Atlantis. They say built Atlantis.
Did the aliens build it? Did they really?
Yeah, they probably built it and got bored with it and put it back in the ocean. Yeah.
Our listener Fritz says, my first impulse was Technorama. But then I realized that they won't me ever leave their spaceship before I've told them every detail of every episode.
Oh, wow.
Or I've reprogrammed their main computer to download all episodes, the website and the videos on YouTube.
Great. That helps our ranking.
So that's how it wasn't a
It was
virus that killed when the Martians invaded. It wasn't a virus that killed them. They just got bored to death with our show.
Yeah, it was Jeff Goldblum that uploaded our show to the
Yeah.
mothership. With the Zep Macintosh.
War of the Worlds ended with Pictorama.
All right. So Mike Robinson says, depending on the day and my mood, no particular order. 1, Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. 2, photography. 3, Art Bell discussed all the weird and bizarre crap going on in the world today, including them. And number 4, the Slice of Sci-Fi voicemail show with horrible ending and the great show being created in the same studio space today. Oh, he's talking about Just Chuck. Yeah. And 5 Ren Fairs in Iowa.
Just in Iowa.
Yeah, just in Iowa. Yeah.
I was just talking about that with Jack Mangan yesterday. I
Mhm.
said, when I was in Wisconsin listening to Slice or Winging It or whatever, it seemed so far away. And then I pointed to the room 20 feet away. I was like, it was right there.
Yeah.
It's like I have this
Oh, yeah.
disconnect in my brain that it was this place far away. It's like, it's not far away anymore.
Yeah, it's always far away from me. For me.
All right. John Kratzer says he would get kicked out of the ship because he's always talking about how good our AI is.
All
Let's see,
right.
we got a couple shares. Did we have anything? Oh, I got a couple of comments on my share.
Yeah.
My sister says she'd get kicked out of the ship because she's always talking about bunions.
I'm sure they'd love to talk about that.
Larry Hudrick says he'd get kicked out because he's always talking about Donald Trump.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that kick you out of their moving car too for talking about that. And my brother Vince says, why they left Biden here? Wow, we're getting political now.
Okay.
The aliens.
Oh boy.
Joe Biden here. He was left here so long ago, like when the pyramids were built. We were building the pyramids and we forgot to pick up one of our
That
friends.
was his job.
And he's still there 3,000 years later.
Yeah. 3,000. That's right.
That's why Biden looks so old.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
there's an age joke in there too.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. That's just funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's our question of the week. We will be back with another one at the end of the show and on the internet.
Right.
And now we find out what happened on October 4th. On this day in history for October 4th, 2023, this is the 277th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. That's going to come up in a bit. There are 88 days remaining in 2023. Oh, look, it was on this date in 1582 that the Gregorian calendar was introduced by Pope Gregory the 13th. What are the chances they named a pope after the calendar?
Right. And on October 4th, 1883, the first run of the Orient Express. I think Proro was on there, right?
Biden was on that too. I just like to see you try and say Poirot's name.
Perot, whatever. Hercule
Poirot. You got to watch Strong Bad.
Oh.
Also,
Okay.
October 4th, 1927, Gutzon Borglund began sculpting Mount Rushmore. Ding, ding,
And-
ding, ding. Trust me, it's going to be great.
Yeah. With one little chisel, all that. I also, today in 1957, Sputnik 1 became the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. You know what? That's the second time I've heard about that today.
October 4th, 1983, Richard Noble set a new land speed record of 633.468 miles per hour. Or if you translate that into kilometers, it's 1,019.468. What? The decimal point is exactly the same.
Yes,
Witchcraft,
it is.
I tell you. He
Wow.
did that at the Black Rock Desert in Nevada.
It was 38 years ago today that the Free Software Foundation was founded, which we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yes. Wow, we sound like we planned this show.
It's like the universe is converging in one point. That's
Imagine
October
what would
4th.
happen if we did plan this show.
Yeah, October 4th is a convergence point. Yeah.
Also today in 2004, Spaceship One won the Ansari X Prize for private spaceflight.
And October 4th, 2006, WikiLeaks was launched.
October 5th, 2006, Wiki Mop was launched.
Yeah. That's right.
Couldn't resist. Happy
Yeah.
birthday goes out of the state of Danish astronomer and author Christian Sorensen. Here we go. Let's try this. Longomontanus. Born on this date
Wow.
in 1562. He's got a
Fri-
Longomontanus name, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, he does. Hey, spell it. I mean, how do you spell that? You spell it like it sounds. French mathematician and
Go ahead.
French mathematician and academic Louis Francois Antoine Argabost was born 264 years ago today.
That's probably your best French you've done yet. Good job.
Oui.
C.
See.
American mathematician and suffragist activist Florence Eliza Allen was born on this date in 1876.
And Hermann Garault was English aerodynamicist, and that's a new one on us too. And author was born on that same date in 1892.
I think because he's English, it's Herman Glauert.
Lord, whatever.
Your French is
But-
leaking.
WikiLeaks is all over that.
Buster Keaton, the American
Mm.
film actor, director, and producer, was born 128 years ago today.
Wow.
That's 80 hex for you and me.
80 hex. English reporter who secretly posed as a man to become a soldier during World War I, Dorothy Lawrence, was born 127 years ago today.
That's 7F to you and me. John Vincent Atanasoff, American physicist and academic, invented the Atanasoff and Berry computer. He was born today in 1903.
That's 8211 in hex, apparently.
The ampersand. He's talking about it as the Unicode character for an ampersand.
He got in there somehow. Inventor of the Kenwood Chef food mixer, Ken Wood, was born 107 years ago today.
Egotistical, buddy.
Yeah.
My name is Kenwood. I shall call this the Kenwood Chef Mixer.
I'll take the space out and make it one word.
Just like Iceland. Charlton Heston, the American actor, director, and played Moses. Well, he was a gun rights activist. Moses was a gun rights activist. You heard it here. He was born the same date in 1923.
English-American author and actress Jackie Collins was born on this date in 1937.
Edith Keeler must die.
Yeah.
American actress and activist Susan Sarandon is 77. Listener birthdays this week include John Dernhold, a.k.a. Joho, on October 6th. October 9th has two birthdays. Itsuko Rumki and Mario from New Jersey. Also on the 10th, we got two birthdays coming up with good friends of ours, Victor Cahiao and Garrett Rafal. Happy birthday to all of you. If it's your birthday this week, we wish you all the best. And if it's your birthday and we didn't wish you all the best, well, go over to the birthday calendar. Put your name on there so we know when to give you a shout out. We'd love to. It's free. You just have this form. You fill it out and there it is.
Yep.
Hey, we can make a song like that. There it is.
Yeah, I think that's taken.
Oh, darn it. Okay. Well, you know what else is taken? The end of this thing. Go
Yeah.
over to truckchat.com/birthday. Did you put the link on the screen? I might have
did.
missed it. It was out the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we will move on. Thank you, and more thank you to everybody who has put their name on that. And we wish you all the best. So, goodbye. There. Random blue button because it's news time.
Oh, great news, everyone.
Well, we do have some great news to start this out.
Yeah.
We have an MIT, was he a scholar, philosopher, or something? Let me get this.
Engineer, MIT, and China have developed a solar-powered system that extracts fresh water from seawater efficiently and cheaper than tap, which I thought was
cheaper than tap water.
Yeah.
Which, when you think about it, it costs to put in the pipes, put in the pumps, put in the, to get tap water to a lot of these people would cost significant money. In fact, our church has a fundraiser where people run for charity and raise money and get pledges and all this kind of stuff, which is a great thing. But you can't do that everywhere. So they've hooked up this solar power thing on a small scale. And they said if they upscale it, well, then they could make, 4 to 6 liters of drinking water per hour. And the parts of this thing would last several years before requiring any maintenance.
That is amazing.
That's a step in the right direction. it's basically free because it's solar powered and it circulates things around and the salt doesn't get all clogged up in the system. That would be pretty darn sweet for a lot of people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that article. We have another one. Interesting picture. I'm going to do a screen share on this one just because it's such a cool picture. Let's see if I can enlarge image. There we go.
And big in it.
Should have set up my screen sharing before. Share screen. Window. No, entire screen of this one. There we go. Now, they said this looked like a spider, and they called it the spider formation. It took me a while to imagine that looked like a spider. Do you see a spider in that picture?
Not exactly.
Okay. See that diamond-shaped kind of
Looks
shape
like a little crater on top or
Make
something.
that the body, and then all the dark splotches below it kind of look like
Oh,
legs.
okay.
Yeah. And then it looks like hairy. It's like it's got a beard under it. Crawling around in somebody's beard. That's what it looked like to me. So, yeah, the NASA scientists probably didn't get much sleep that night. But they found this on Mars, and they suspect it's from ice that's sublimated. Like there was ice
Okay.
underground, and sublimation is when you go right from solid to gas. You don't go through that liquid stage. So it just kind of went, and that's this picture that if you're watching the video, that's what you'd see.
So what you're saying is that's like broken ground or maybe cavities?
Kind of sunk in. Here, let me show you the one that was further up because this is a zoomed in version. The one that was further up looks like this.
Yeah.
So if you zoom way in, you can see it. They sort of rotated the image, but it looks like a dimple.
Yeah.
Almost like a crater where everything kind of sunk in. So lots of cool stuff out there.
There is. When they say, I like the beginning of it. David Bowie was onto something with spiders on Mars.
Yeah. They also thought it was funny they closed the article that way. Science aside, the high-rise crater snapshot showcases the haunting beauty of Mars. This would be a great time to put on The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars and stare into the crater from a planet far away.
Right.
We have not mapped everything there is to map on Mars yet, or at least not close up enough to see things like this. I'm sure it will reveal many, many more interesting secrets in the years to come. All right. That brings us to something very interesting. We gotta get to the hacks and strange stories episode. Yes.
First off, I think we're starting to prove that duct tape has a place in this world.
This is not. They were not talking about duct tape.
I know we weren't talking about duct tape, but yeah, go ahead.
So, a team of researchers at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Canada. Pardon me if I massacred that name. Never heard it, read it, seen it before. They discovered a simple and cheap way to extend battery life in smartphone and laptop batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, most of the batteries are using PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Terephthalate.
It's terephthalate.
I thought it was tetrahydrine or something closer to that, but it was not anything. It was terephthalate. I'm sorry, I'm not a scientist.
Just go with PET.
Okay, PET.
Pet tape.
And that's what's used to hold the lithium battery components together. However, it's prone to dissolving. You'd think somebody would have figured this out before.
I know, right?
So this one guy says, well, if we use polypropylene tape or PP tape, I'll say polypropylene.
PP.
That it not only fixed the dissolving problems, gave you 10% more life to it, and solved a self-discharge because you leave something alone for a while and suddenly it's discharged, even though you didn't do anything and it's off. What the heck? It solves that problem by up to 70%. So the article sounds optimistic, and they say, I'm going to guess that the battery manufacturers, the phone manufacturers, whoever it is, are going to jump on this real fast.
Well, how can they not? Yeah, well, I was gonna say, how can they not? They said that the cost was the same between the two different types of tape.
But I'm also going to guess that it's going to take the next round of phones. Like you're not going to see it in the halfway through the iPhone 15 changes.
Bring your phone in, and we'll swap out the tape. But it's also
I don't know if it's something you can do, like just because the battery itself is assembled and pretty much
Mhm.
sealed up. It's a
Yeah.
self-contained unit. It's not
No,
like you
it'd
could
be
unwrap it and put new tape on it.
no, it'd be something that will come out over time, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
like it'd be
Yeah.
the iPhone 16 or the Samsung S24, 25, because they've got to change over their manufacturing processes. Not like
Well
stick
well
somebody on the end of the assembly line going, "Here, here's a new roll of tape for you to use."
well, not just that, but his, Adams's research paper just came out, in the Natural Materials, periodical, so it went through
Yeah.
peer review and all that kinda stuff, and now it's gonna take a while before somebody makes sure that that is in fact what's gonna
Right.
you know,
That is not just a spoof like, "Hey, cold fusion is real."
yeah.
Nothing here is real. Oh, sorry. So that's our hacks and strange stories. Time to give a shout out to the chat room. We've got
Eh,
Mike Robinson. He's hanging out
hey,
with us tonight.
we're
So it's
just talking about you.
not a bug, it's a feature. Oh, like the spider on Mars. It's not a bug, it's a
Oh,
feature.
of course.
That's the context I'm putting it in since we have no uh it's a job for he says it's a job for Battery Man. All right. If you're hanging out, if you got nothing better to do on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern time, we'd love to see you here. We do our live stream to, let's see, Facebook, YouTube, and X,
X.
formerly known as Twitter.
I guess you know what? I have not even looked to see a stream on I don't really use Twitter
X.
X anymore, so
I looked at it for the first time in about 2 weeks. I know I'm auto publishing some things there because I usually go, here's something I can send from our social
I mean, there
ambassadors.
it is. We're broadcasting there, so
Okay, good. But nobody's commenting from there. So that's not where our biggest audience lives.
yeah.
Hang out with us. We'd love to see you and join in the chat. Now, let's hop over to Remember When Land. Yes, a 1981 YouTube video.
You know what? I will never get tired of seeing these early reportings on the internet, especially one from 1981.
That's right.
Yeah.
This
Is there
shows in all its 4x3 glory, if you can even call it that. Let's see if we can
Yeah.
pop that back up there. This lovely lady who is going to tell us about I think it's a San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, they're talking
His
about reading your newspaper on your computer.
someday. Yeah, this was an
Someday.
experiment in 81.
Mhm.
And this is just kind of a proof of concept. So you got this guy banging away on his trash 80. He said, "The news comes up on your TV." Like
He stopped playing Oregon Trail for a moment to read the news.
looks like he's playing on a Coco, but this guy later, he's clearly got
He
a
is.
TRS 80.
Yeah.
And it's all text. They said no ads or no pictures yet. But
Yay.
imagine someday you could get all your news delivered to you, which is a little ironic as we were reading online news sites to get this article.
True. Yeah.
It's an interesting look back into, these people were pretty visionary. Now, let's see who's online. I can't read all of these clearly, but the
San
Minneapolis
Francisco
Star,
Examiner,
the
Chronicle.
Los Angeles Times,
Yeah.
San Francisco,
Minneapolis Star and Tribune.
Washington Post. So
I can't read that first one. I can't read that first one.
Last menu page, key digit, or M for previous menu.
Hey, how you like that UX?
God, they really worked hard on that. And then they actually did show one of the articles in here with a date, and it said May 16th? There it is, May 16th, 1981. So by Gail Cook,
All right.
Examiner Capital Bureau. So lots of little interesting Easter eggs.
Yeah,
They had
move your mouse out of the
they
way.
had an ad in the paper. They had an ad in a magazine that didn't have just that crummy text menu on it. It had like you copy and pasted newspaper in here. It says, "Well, it may not look exactly like this when we're done."
Somebody used PageMaker on this TRS-80.
This is they literally wallpapered
Yeah.
their newspaper over there, kind of like a closed up shop window.
This computer took 3 hours to download that one picture.
Well, that was the other thing they said. They said to download your newspaper would take what, 2 hours on a
Yeah.
dial-up connection, because I think I saw this guy reading a 300 baud, and they said, what was it? At $6 an hour, that at the end, they show this guy, passing selling newspapers on the corner. They go, "This guy's in, does not fear for his job." Yeah, wait a few years.
Yeah.
See if
Yeah.
you're a
Now
little
all of
news.
our jobs are in danger with AI. So
When's the last time you saw a newsstand either manned or unmanned?
when's the last time you saw a newspaper manned or unmanned?
I have seen, like, the newspaper cabinets, but they're always empty.
I'll tell you this. I saw a newspaper the other day. It was one of my local ones, but it is like super thin. There's like,
Well,
it
they
used
narrowed them up to save paper, first of
well
all.
that, and it was more like I would classify it more as a glorified pamphlet rather than a newspaper because when I used to have a paper route and when I would roll those things
Me
up,
too.
it'd be like it would be a good bit of paper. Now
You
it's
rolled
like,
them up?
huh?
You rolled them up?
Yeah, I'd have to
That's
go. I had to pick up my newspapers. I used to DJ at night, so after I did that, about 2 or 3 in the morning, I go pick up the papers. When I was done with that with the bar, I go pick up newspapers, and I'd be in the car rolling them and throw them in the back seat. And as I go in, I'd pull some up and I'd start distributing them. So yes, I had to roll them.
some of them even landed on the porch once in a while.
Well, I can think of a couple of houses where they were like, "Be sure to come and bring it and put it between the glass door and the regular, like in the storm door." I'm like,
You know, the
"Oh,
worst part about that job was collecting. Oh,
well,
nobody
luckily
was
I didn't.
ever home.
I didn't have to do that. They
Oh, I
paid the newspaper directly, so I wasn't going to start collecting at 4 in the morning as I'm delivering the papers.
No, you had to go out at separate times to collect.
No, I wasn't going to do that.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to do that in the middle of the night.
Craig was a DJ and a newspaper route. Kids, stay in school.
Well, hey, I figured I got off work and I figured, well, I got to, I could either stay up just a few more hours and do another job, or go straight home. So
Let's
that's what I
see.
did.
What kind of job would piggyback right onto staying up late and closing down the bars?
Hmm.
I
Well,
could be an EMT? No, I
well,
think I'll go with the newspaper thing.
well, I got that. Well, I didn't even say I got the idea, but my friend, who was also a DJ, he did the same thing. So he had a paper route.
So you had turf
And I was like,
wars. This is my
no, he had his own. He he had his own, but yeah, sometimes it was a little scary at night. Some of the roads I was on, you see things. So-
You didn't have to deal with snow.
no, I didn't have to deal with snow.
Yeah, that was
I got a story about a
tough.
dead body, but I'll save that for another time.
Oh, so there's skeletons in your closet.
I didn't kill anybody. Yeah, I threw the paper, hit him in the temple, and then no. Oh, by the way,
Then you weren't doing it right. I'm sorry.
Mike Robinson says he thought we was hoping we were going to talk about the exploding whale video, the
No,
infamous. That's a terrible video.
we do have something else though that'll take you back.
Yes,
The oldest living torrent
I
is
know,
now
right?
20 years old. This is a fanfic called The Phanomatrix. It's a 16-minute amateur trailer. Did you watch this?
I've seen it a long time ago. I didn't watch it recently.
I never heard of this, so I had to watch. It was
Yeah.
a pretty well done. They said they made it over 9 days on an
Mhm.
$800 budget. I mean, the lighting and whatnot isn't too bad, but the camera work is all of it's handheld.
Yeah, like I said, I probably saw it not long after it was put up. I don't. It's been a long time.
The people have British accents, which is interesting.
Mhm.
So but back then, 20 years ago, most of the people had, maybe 56K dial-up. Broadband was starting to make a scene in the early 2000s.
Right.
Uh, and this thing was, how big was it? It was like 38 meg or something. I forgot what they said. It's not high res by any means. It's kind of blurry
Yeah.
in spots. Uh,
It's probably
but that
compressed.
would take well. So they decided to adopt a new technology called BitTorrent,
Mm-hmm.
which was created by Bram Cohen from the University of Buffalo in 2001. and they use it to distribute it, and there's still a fan base out there. They were trying to celebrate the 20th anniversary, but it didn't really amount to much, so they're starting to make plans for maybe the 25th. We'll have merchandise and
Merchandise.
that's what they said.
Oh,
So, we'll
yeah.
see.
I remember when BitTorrent came around, and I was trying to wrap my head around decentralized file sharing, and once you kind of get the idea, it's actually it's pretty powerful,
It's not
especially
that much different than, how packets are routed. They don't all take the same path.
no, but just to deliver files that large, especially when you had dial up, because you could actually stop it and then come back and you could restart it, and you were getting it from other people, so
Mhm.
you didn't have to worry about somebody having bad bandwidth. It was a mix because uh, it was shared across several things. You could get some of it, most of it, faster than other places. Um,
I
no,
mean, the concept is also very closely related to, um, in the old days when you wanted to send a binary file, you had to actually encode it.
mhm,
So you would do this step called UU encode. So it
yeah,
would turn the binary file to text,
mhm,
and to make things even more fun, there's like a finite limit on how big those files could be. So if you said, "Hey, I want to go download the latest copy of Emacs," you would have to go get, I forgot how many it was. It was something ridiculous, like 39 files, 39 of these text files,
yeah,
get them in the right order, and then decode them and say, just turn all that crap in that directory, it's a bunch of text files, into my binary file, and it would
yeah,
magically work. So, do part piecing or packetizing a large file isn't really surprising, and then one computer goes, "Here, you can have this packet," and the other one says, "Here, you can have that packet," and eventually
mhm.
all wind up on your system. I mean,
Well,
it doesn't make it go any faster when you think about it. If all you got is a 56K
true,
modem, you're
yeah,
not getting the file any faster, but like you said,
not
you
necessarily,
you
but
weren't beholden to HTTP transfer interruptions or go, "Oh, we gotta
yeah,
start over again."
yeah. Fault tolerance was a big thing with this. So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting concept when they did it. You're right; it's not entirely new, um, but it did. I wouldn't say it lasted too long because that's around the time cable modem started to creep up, and
That didn't
everybody
make
started.
BitTorrent go away, it made BitTorrent accelerate,
No, I mean that bandwidth became more ubiquitous than having to worry about dialing up on a 56K
that was a
modem.
slow burn, though, that took a long time, it's not
It
like
would, it did.
overnight everybody
No, I
got
didn't. I wasn't saying it happened overnight. I just said that's
yeah,
about the time cable modems started to become popular,
right.
cable internet, and so it became less and less of a thing. But BitTorrent's still out there. I mean, I've downloaded
Oh,
Linux
yeah.
with it before.
Yep, yep.
I've downloaded all kinds of
All
stuff.
those pirates gave it a bad name, though.
Right.
Yarr.
I have downloaded a TV show episode, maybe I don't think it was on uh, Usenet, and that was hard. But the app, once you get all the, like you said, all the files down, and they kind of turn back into a binary file, it's kind of
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
Some of the news readers would do that. We use one called
Hmm.
NN, which is not news, which is interesting because or net news. If you didn't
Right.
have any news, it would say no news is good news, and if your feed was broken, you're like, "But it says no news is good news." That's not
Well,
good news. My feed is broken. How can I tell? It was
actually,
kinda
that
funny.
actually leads into our next one because uh, GNU is not Linux. So
GNU is now 40 years old.
yeah.
Oh, well, kind of, in a way. So, in the early '80s, they don't really have an anniversary date on this thing,
Hmm.
but, that's when RMS, AKA Richard M. Stallman,
Hmm.
was a fledgling MIT, what was he? An AI laboratory programmer of all things, and they were having problems with their printer. It was a Xerox 9700, and he said, "I can fix this if I had the source code," and it bothered him to no end that he couldn't fix this. So he
Right.
had this vision that if people had source code, they could modify it to solve their problems, and it was kind of born out of that. His main mission was always to create, like, an open source Unix.
Yes.
He never got that far, though, but he did have some major strides. he did take credit for things that he really shouldn't have.
Well, a lot of the tools and software around Linux really is got this to thank for it, because all those little utilities that you use day in and day out all became part of Linux, although it didn't become part of GNU, which I think was he was wanting to make a kernel of his own called GNU Herd,
Mm.
and it didn't quite come up because Linux was becoming so popular, and it just kind of took off, So
The big major rocket for a lot of this stuff was GCC. And I remember when that
yeah,
came out. Wow, this is faster than the one that Sun sent us or HP sent us. It
right.
actually works better. It was easy to
Mhm.
download things off Usenet and compile them. Go, this is cool.
Well, if you think about it, I liked his thought process. If I had the source code, I could fix this because it kind of goes hand in hand with being able to fix things on your own, like your phone or whatever, which is
Yeah, the right
in
to repair
some
thing.
in some ways, yeah, the right to repair. In some ways, that's been problematic because look at like the iPhone, it's all one piece. You can't replace the battery and things like that. But if I could fix this. Well, same idea with GNU, and I loved all this. It was great.
In reality, not everything can be open source, or we wouldn't have any,
No,
we
I know.
wouldn't have a job
No, I'm
because
not
we
saying that. No, no. Well, also our job relies on a lot of Linux
it's
or
built on, a lot of open
open
source
source projects. Yeah,
projects. But what our company makes is intellectual property. You
of course.
can't
No, I'm
give
not
that
saying
away.
everything needs to be open source. I don't believe everything needs to be open source. I think he does, but I don't believe that. However, I think a good, strong showing in the open source community it makes the world a better place. As a
Yep.
look at all the web, Linux is the leading website server. Look, I mean, I spin them up day in and day out. I use Linux all day, every day at work. So it makes it change. It makes the world turn.
Does it?
Probably there's
I
probably a
thought
little Linux machine in the middle of Earth.
it's a big crank on top that God has
I'll,
turned.
so I yeah, I agree with most of what he does, but there's some things that he goes a little out there, and
Yeah,
like you
he's
said,
controversial guy.
yeah, a little controversial. Some things I'm with him, some things I'm not. But overall, I think he's made a good mark in the world.
It's been an interesting 40 years and
Hmm.
watching this story continue to unfold.
Oh, you know, imagine the things that you can do for free with software without buying a thing, and it's a lot of it has to
Speaking
do
about
with
the
this.
hardware.
I'm just saying you can do a lot.
Oh, right.
Or spinning up a Linode machine for five
Yep.
bucks, and you can have it do just about anything you want from
Or
just
Raspberry Pi.
retrieving email or any of that stuff, or serving a website. Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's give a quick shout out to our patrons. There's
Ah,
music back there somewhere. There it is. Okay, making sure it's playing. Thank you to you. You bring this show to us and to the rest of the people. You help fund this out of the goodness of your own heart for as little as $1 a show. Craig's already got the URL up there. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/Technorama Podcast is where people like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan D. Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Shrawan, Crazy Joe Adventures, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook all
there you
went.
go. Yeah,
All 28 of them went there and said, yes, this is worth something to me. And in return, their donations are worth something to us. So we create a special episode of Technorama just for them. And when we're out and about, we make postcards and send them to you. And some people who have elevated themselves to the super status get a t-shirt,
Yeah.
which we are
it's coming.
rapidly working on. We will get that out shortly. In some cases, I might even hand deliver it to some people.
Right.
The way that my travels are going lately. Okay, let's cut that out. Thank you, everybody. Again, patreon.com/Technorama podcast. If you think it's worth it, give us a little
Hoot.
donation.
Give us a hoot. I
And
don't know why y'all thought you were going to say the hoot.
leading you down a path that's been laid down in your brain cells for some time.
Yeah.
Okay, that means it's time for Pass Me the Remote, where Craig and I talk about things that we've watched, we listened to, we've read, just stuff that's on our mind recently. Donna and I are about 15 minutes shy of wrapping up a show on Netflix called The Irregulars. It's set in the Sherlock Holmes world, although he doesn't really make an appearance until about episode 5 out of 8. Maybe it was 4 out of 8. But it's not all about Sherlock Holmes. It's actually this group of kids that are
Oh,
hired by John Watson
I think
to
I did see
gather
that. I did see that a while back.
It's
Yeah.
actually pretty good. I think it was 2021 when that came out. So we just got around to it. Having fun watching that. We're just getting to the end. We got the big scene. Now we're kind of in the epilogue. But then I had to come in the studio and make a podcast for you.
Oh, well.
So
I
enjoying
think
it
I did
very much.
remember enjoying that. That's
Yeah.
like you said, 2001. So it's been a little bit
No,
before.
2021.
Oh, what
You
I
said
say?
2001.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 21. But still, it's been a little while since I've seen it. But I remember seeing it during COVID times, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check that out because I like
Not your
Sherlock.
standard Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery. It's got a
Mm-mm.
supernatural element to it.
Yeah, it does. And I thought I would throw in Futurama, the finale of the latest season. There is still a season to come. It's already in the can, from what I understand. And so I kind of enjoyed this. What were your thoughts? Did you finish it yet?
Is that the one that came out Monday?
Yes, that
What
was
was it? What was the title of that one?
it was one where they went down in the different universes. Um, remember the
Yes. I did see that one.
yeah. That was kind of fun. And then some of our friends started getting ideas for cosplay out of that.
I got an idea for cosplay on the Star Trek cruise from the latest
All the way
episode.
down. That was the name of
Lower
that show.
Decks. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Lower Decks had these 3 Betazoids, and one of them put on a hat that says, "It's Romulan Ale Hour somewhere,"
Yeah.
on a hat. So I want a hat that says that for the
I
cruise.
want one too that says that. But
You know what? I'm gonna make them and sell them on Etsy or something just for the
yeah,
Star Trek nerds.
that's right.
I'm sure I'm gonna get in all kinds of trouble for that.
Hmm.
Yes,
Probably.
Futurama has wrapped up their season 11, which is
I enjoyed season. I'll tell you
there were a
I-
couple that I'm like, yeah, it didn't
yeah.
really stick together.
It was like it was almost like they were getting their footing a little bit more back in under them. You know, even though the previous seasons, especially the later ones, I liked a lot, and then this one was like, okay, it was pretty good. So I say overall, I enjoyed it. But yeah, there was a few episodes that were kind of a little weak. So hopefully they'll course
They're
correct.
still sneaking in that highbrow humor in there as much as they can. This is what do they got? Like 8 PhDs working on this show? It's crazy.
Yeah,
But they don't bury you or make you feel dumb. If you catch them, you catch them. If you don't, it's still funny.
yeah,
Sometimes they even go so far as to explain it. But
yeah,
I think it's a lot of fun from the intellectual level too, as much as the comedy level.
yeah. Didn't they? We talked about this before. They developed some not for this season. They developed the formula to explain some about the Globetrotters.
It's when when they were switching bodies and you can't go back
Yes,
to any one of the previous ones, and that was like an open math problem that they
yeah,
solved.
yeah. That's
So,
pretty amazing.
I forgot what it was called. They also explained the number 1729. I saw a video on that. That's on the side of the Nimbus. It appears in a lot of places.
Hmm.
It's what is it? The lowest second order number by multiplying 2 primes. And then they went, let's do the third order. And it was, a much larger number. And
Yeah,
there's actually 2 of them. There's a video out there that explains it. Just look up like Futurama 1729. You'll find it. And
oh
I was
wow,
going, holy smokes, who figures this stuff out? And they said, is
yeah,
there a fourth order one?
yeah.
Maybe we'll find out. But
Oh, Speaking of Futurama, I'll throw
Yeah.
this in the show notes so if I can remember. That our parade group, when we do the cosplay, I don't know if you've seen the show, you heard her talk about this. With Dragon Con, we end the parade as Futurama characters, and this last year they featured us on the Dragon Con YouTube channel. It
Yep.
was a little clip where they came and interviewed us, and we're all goofing around. You know, I don't know what value it has to society, but it's kind of fun to watch us just goof around and talk to the guy.
I posted that on LinkedIn.
Did you? Yeah,
I said, my life isn't all bow ties and service now. This is what I do
it's
on
bald
Labor
caps
Day
too.
weekend with my friends.
Yeah,
Take time to have fun and enjoy life is kind of how I said it. So 1729 is known as the Hardy Ramanujan number. It is, or
Oh,
it's called a taxicab number after the famous anecdote of the British mathematician G.H. Hardy regarding a hospital visit to the Indian mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan. And it's pretty interesting because that's also the number on it is a taxi number on Futurama, but it's the side number of the Nimbus. Zach Brannigan's ship is BP 1729.
yeah.
Bender and Flexo both have serial numbers that are the sum of the two cubes, either 12 cubed, which is 1728, and 1 cubed, or 10 cubed, 1000, and 9 cubed, which is 1729. There's two of them. So if you take 12 cubed and 1 cubed, you get 1729. If you take 10 cubed and 9 cubed, you get 1729. See how that goes?
Yeah.
In the Farnsworth Parabox episode, one of the universes is Universe 1729. And the taxicab in Bender's Big Score has the number 875-39319, which is the sum of two positive cubes in 3 ways. Okay, instead of in 2 ways. Yeah, really, really insane stuff that these people go through. Like, hey, let's put that on there and see if somebody figures it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun.
Somebody did.
And people do look that up. They go, oh, what's that? Let me look it up. So a lot of Easter eggs in that show. That's kind of why I like it. All right. Are we at the end? We are. Our question of the
Yeah.
week for you this time around is, what conspiracy theory is so easily disproved that you don't understand how it's still going? And I'm sure a lot of people are going to say flat Earth.
Birds aren't real.
The Earth is round, like a dinner plate.
Yeah.
As Ben and Keith would say.
It's also flat. A dinner plate.
Conspiracy theories. Here we go. Let's see what the audience comes back with this. Did you paste that YouTube URL in there for something?
Yeah, so I remember to put it in our show notes.
Okay. Because it ends with ASS_.
That's the video. Oh, ass into the parade. That's our a link to our video.
I think so. That's Dragon Con did not call that video that.
No, they did not. But no, that's not part of the. That would be in the URL.
It's a URL parameter SI.
I'm telling you, that's what it says to me.
Oh, right. I see. You're just making it up.
We have a shared chat group with everybody in the parade, and it's the ass end of the parade. And
it went through a lot of names until it arrived at that one about 2-3 years ago. Maybe it was even pre-COVID. I think it was pre-COVID that we named it that, and it just sort of stuck.
Well, that chat's been going on for a long time.
It was originally the ass end of the parade because we're the last group in the parade. And then Captain America came out and he made that comment like, that's America's ass. So we called it America's ass end of the parade.
Yeah.
And that's been the name of the chat group.
So it's appropriate that ass is in the YouTube URL for this video.
Sure. Although it doesn't have to be because it's after the question mark. So whatever that's doing there, I don't know. Probably giving someone some reference designator thing. All right.
Yeah.
That takes us to the end of the show.
Hey, there's a conspiracy theory right there. That's 6.
What are those magic things in the URL?
Right.
Let's give this thing a buzz and get on out of here. So, if you want to get a hold of us, Craig's going to put up the contact information because the Patreon thing's been up there for like.
We really want you to support us.
Yeah, apparently. I did that at church today. We were done singing the song, but I left the song up there. Or no, somebody's comment. Somebody's comment. Contact us 707-530-2428, or you can send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com. We will get it. We do get it. We still get it. And we may respond. We may read it on the air if it's appropriate, if it doesn't
Or if you
involve
call us,
anything illegal.
we
Or you
might
can call us.
play. Yeah, we might play it.
That voicemail still works. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, listening to us, watching us. And thank you, Craig, for all of the stories and all the help putting this together and the post-production, et cetera, et cetera. Until next time, tell a friend about Technorama and give us a binary high five. And we're out of here.
101.
Woohoo! The audio recording has ceased. And I'm watching. Red light is off. Yay! It means it saved it all to the SD card. So we are going to stop the video broadcast at this point, go record our Patreon show. And we'll talk to you again next week. I'm around next week. You around next week?
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Okay. There's nothing really interrupting this production schedule until, what is it, the 29th? Yeah, the 29th of October, later this month. I will
Oh,
not
yeah,
be
things
there.
start getting squirrely in November, I think, too.
Most of the weekends I'm around. That one we're going to London. In fact, I may be bending the 29th with Yorga if plans come together.
Oh, think it's going to work out? Okay.
We're going to have a Zoom call later this week to discuss and see
All right.
if we make plans. The days are open. We really have nothing to do between the time we land in London on Saturday afternoon and have to report for work Monday night. So we're going to make plans. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okie doke. And then there's probably an opportunity later in November where you and I are going to be together.
That's right.
Okay. So we're going to stop the broadcast here. Everybody take care. Be safe. We'll see you
Bye,
real soon.
everybody.
And